So I'm going to go through a few peaks and valleys for you now.
Absolutely.
Like life and like our journey as, entrepreneurs and as founders. You started a company, you built it, you raised capital, you took it to a particular level, and then from there onwards, you also came to terms with a beautiful moment to say that at times it's not just about building alone. Perhaps it's also about housing it in the right platform and the right house for it to be able to exponentially grow.
Correct.
Because at times the ecosystem can be a catalyst, it can be a springboard, but a lot of this comes with maturity, Naiyya. And why I say maturity? यार entrepreneur के लिए ना अपना उसका जो company बोलो, venture बोलो, it's his or her baby. There is always this parting depression that is there. Like as parents we feel it, and mothers feel it so much more. Entrepreneurs also feel it. But that maturity to understand and say that 1 + 1 is not 2. 1 + 1 can be 11 or maybe 111. You never know how the power of expanding in that manner. So I want to now go into this mindset. First and foremost, my question to you, because a lot of people are in that mindset, hopefully, where they are talking about their first term sheet. They are talking about the first external capital. They are talking about the first partner that can be there on the cap table who they have not known or understood earlier. So take us through your learnings of a fundraising journey. A lot of people, Naiyya, and I keep saying this, tangible capital से 10 गुना ज़्यादा matter करता है intangible capital. And intangible capital is a whole bunch of things. It's not just about the person who's writing the check. It's a lot of things that the person brings on the cap table. A lot of people don't understand the value of intangible capital. कभी-कभार बहुत interesting situations भी होते हैं. That there's a great name with intangible capital, but is squeezing down the valuation by 10 bips. There may not be that great a name, but has no intangible value or intangible capital. It's only about the check and perhaps giving you 10 bips or 20 bips higher. At times, a founder on short-sightedness on the value at that point of time completely discounts what intangible capital could be, and later on realizes that the check was not the right check to take. So take us through a little bit of your learning. But for our viewers who are in that journey of raising capital, meeting the right investors, deciding between term sheet A, B, C, what's the value of intangible capital? How does one know who's the right partner to have on the cap table?
I mean, a very practical answer to that is actually talk to fellow founders who've had the investors invest in them earlier. I mean, that again, I talk about the power of peer networks and the power of peer learning, right? I mean, I'm a creature of peer learning. I learn through conversations and I learn through people's experiences, right? Because no book will be able to capture some of these behind the scenes conversations, right?
Or the behind the scenes situations.
Exactly. And that's where I think it's super important that you constantly make the effort to build deep friendships and relationships with people who you respect, one, but also who are going through a similar life experience as you. And so for me, I think, I mean, of course, and I was, starting off as a new founder, I didn't know too many people. I've built my relationships over time. And I made my mistakes as a result, right?
And we are supposed to make mistakes.
We're supposed to make mistakes, yeah. I mean, that's part of life. So I think the first thing is that do your ref checks, right? Talk to people, portfolio company founders, ideally friends of yours who are portfolio company founders, and say, what has your experience been with this particular investor, right? Number 2, trust your gut. Many times, of course, you're being like, it's a bit of a, if you're really in demand as a venture as well, there'll be a lot of sweet talking, right?
A lot of courtship.
Lot of courtship, right? Yeah. But I think use your gut, ask some of the questions in terms of what has been the company that's not succeeded for you, for instance. Ask that question to the investor. So what did you do with it? What happened to the founder? Understand from the investor's body language how they treat failures as well in their portfolio, how they address it. Many times we don't ask questions to the investor. We are only being asked the questions. Correct. And we are okay with that status quo because we think the power dynamic is imbalanced.
And we are mentally calibrated to say that they are the ones who are going to ask the questions.
Correct. Spot on, right? Ask your questions gently, but ask your questions and figure it out, and you will get a very good read of whether that's the right partner for you. Because, honestly, no one has a smooth journey. Everybody has like journeys where the chips are really down, and then you're looking at that partner and saying, how is that partner dealing with you, right? Something I have learned over time. I think also thirdly, I mean, obviously look at the other practical stuff like the fund size, the fund lifetime, the fund thesis, the fund motivations, the partner motivations. Are they here, new fund, different motivations, right? To establish themselves, to prove a certain ROI versus a more established, seasoned, investor who basically is investing for a different reason maybe, right? So I think these are the three things that you should look at as a new entrepreneur to really understand whether that's the right check for you or not, because otherwise everything else is noise.
See, the power of asking questions is underestimated.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, soft diligence is also underestimated. Like you said, what's beautiful as a takeaway is how an investor deals with failure for a portfolio also showcases character of that investor. The other bit which I think is also very important is like what you stated. With fellow founders, when you start asking, you'll also realize that something was beautifully said in another episode where even for an investor to go across and give you that shoulder where you can just rant because things are not going down, and the investor at the end says, don't worry, sab theek ho jayega. That sab theek ho jayega kehne ka maturity at the right time for an investor is also phenomenal intangible. It's not just about opening the doors, it's not just about bringing customers in, giving you more access. It's about being there as your lifeboat when chips are down, because there are two mindsets, right? When chips are down, you can get flogged and that makes you feel that much more bad, or you can have a shoulder where the investor says, theek hai yaar, ho jayega, we'll manage it. That theek hai yaar bhi ho jayega, they underestimate the power of that. I think that's a very important message that you're giving out.
Yeah.